campground that we stayed at was the Colorado River Thousand Trails.
All of a sudden, I just felt this flap.
Welcome back to You Decide. In these short videos, we are going to review campgrounds that we've stayed at, in particular the Thousand Trails campgrounds.
We'll hit on 8 categories that are most important to us when camping, and we think they're probably most important to many campers. If you can think of another category that you'd like us to add that we aren't touching on, please let us know in the comments.
We call it You Decide because what we like may not necessarily be what you like.
Exactly.
And we welcome you to stay until the end as we cover the 8 categories. We will offer some pro tips about where the location is and some of the things that we found in the area that might be of interest to you.
And also just some pro tips about the campground itself. And please, especially in this video, stay till the end because we have a hilarious tale to tell you. It's a cautionary tale because when you're out and about in a campground, you have to be careful.
Stay tuned.
Here's a teaser.
Before we get started on the campground shakedown, we want to let you know that if you're interested in a Thousand Trails membership, please get a hold of Jim and Brandy Renault. They are the folks that sold us our membership.
Our Elite Connections and our Adventure membership.
Yep, we recently upgraded the Adventure membership.
Yeah, there's just great people down to earth, tell it like it is, and they will really help you find the membership that's right for you, depending on the way that you camp. And we just couldn't say enough about them. Be sure if you do contact Jim and Brandy, let them know that Good Life Highway sent you. We would really appreciate that. So on to the campground shakedown.
The name of the campground that we stayed at was the Colorado River Thousand Trails. Colorado River Thousand Trails is located in Columbus, Texas. In the campground, there are 138 sites, and we were in D26.
And how much did we pay to stay 14 days?
0.
Yay. Category 1 is staff helpfulness, friendliness, and ease of check-in. And Thousand Trails has gone to online check-in these days, but it's a little different with the Thousand Trails parks. You do check in, but you don't get a site. The Encore resorts, we did get a site ahead of time. So you basically get there and you have to look for a site. Colorado River has a great system for helping you find the right site. Right. They tell you what's available. They tell you what you're going to get on that, and they don't have a lot of 50 amps. So there were no 50 amps when we checked in. If you get on the wait list for the 50 amp, they will reserve that site for you, so you have time to move. And we never did. We took a 30 amp because we had a sewer, and we really liked where our site was.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
In the D loop, and it backs up against the river, so we just kind of wanted to stay put. Y'all know it's a pain. Y'all, because I've been in Texas, I'm saying y'all now. It's a pain to have to move once you set up, especially with a bigger rig. So we just decided to stay. We never had to upgrade sites, but they're really good about first come, first serve. And when one is available, you will be next in line,
Yeah, I think the other thing too was the weather was very cooperative. It wasn't hot, so to have to run all of our AC wasn't really necessary.
Right, so we're fine on 30 amp if we don't need the AC and all of the appliances. So that was just fine. And the people were super helpful, super friendly.
Number 2 is the general vibe. We really liked the Colorado River. This place had it all. It was kind of getting back into the woods and nature.
Especially from South Texas, because South Texas didn't have a lot of woods. It was more
Texas
like where we are. We aren't at Colorado River right now.
Right.
But it was very similar to where we are right now.
South Texas was flat and blue like crazy. But it was beautiful.
Blue, not the color of blue, but the winds
blue.
The
winds were very high. But yeah, definitely a place that you just felt comfortable with. People were very nice. Our neighbors were really nice. So it was good good all around.
Yeah, we liked the vibe there.
Mm-hmm.
The third category is amenities. This campground had some amenities. It didn't have as many as some of the parks that we've been to. Some of them are just all full of amenities, like Lake Conroe. It has a dog park. It has a pickleball court. It does have a pool and a hot tub, but unfortunately that was closed.
Right.
And
Mini golf?
A big mini golf, which we played, which was really fun. They just didn't sweep off the mini golf course, so it was full of all this wood, this tree stuff. So it was no big deal, but
no, it was fun to do.
If they swept it occasionally, that would be cool. Behind the pool, there's some sort of a clubhouse, but it was completely shrouded in plastic. It was going through a renovation of some kind.
Right.
So there wasn't as many amenities, but we aren't at these parks for all that stuff, really. We just like to find a place for our dog to swim and to take hikes, and they have great
trails,
great trail system around the park, so that was really nice.
Number 4, hookups. One of the things that we like to look for is the 50 amp, but as Chris mentioned earlier, that was not an option when we got there. We could have gotten on a wait list, but we did have the 30 amp. We also had sewer, and the other thing we like to look for is really the placement of your electric box and the sewer relative to where the rig sits. And we felt this was well placed. It was kind of parallel to the rig. We didn't have to, some places you go to, you have to kind of go out an
or
angle.
Put extensions, but wasn't necessary. They were right there.
Yeah, it was easy way to hook up for electric and sewer.
The 5th category is overall cleanliness of the park. We thought this park was very clean. I did go into the bathrooms. We don't typically use the bathroom facilities, but they seemed to be upgraded. They seemed to be somewhat modern, and they were very clean. And the park, the garbage cans weren't overflowing. It's a pretty small park, so it doesn't generate as much garbage as the larger parks. So really, it was a very clean park.
Number 6 is the condition and placement of the site. One of the things we found here is that the size of the sites were kind of all over the board. Some were really close to each other. Some had some generous space between your front door and the rig next to you. We were on a little tighter one, but we did have a nice backyard, as we like to say.
No rigs behind us.
No rig behind us.
That was nice.
What was behind us was the Colorado River and some nice grassy areas. We had some deer visit us one night, so that was kind of fun. But overall, the sites were even. We didn't have too much of a problem there.
Yeah, they were level. They're just different in size, I would say.
Yep.
Just the sizing is a little different.
And they, like some of the other Thousand Trails, had some of their boxes bagged up, meaning that the electric's out. But we did get an email recently that Thousand Trails is really working on getting electric back up and running in their parks. So more to come on that.
Crossing fingers. Category 7 is connectivity. We have Verizon, as you may already know, and we had no problems with our Verizon for both work and streaming. The TV antenna, on the other hand, was not good. We could hardly get any local TV channels down there. But we were at the lower part of the park. It's a pretty big park. Considering not very many sites, it's a big park.
Right, D-loop.
And so we were kind of at the bottom, down closer to the river, and there was an A-loop, which I think I heard that the reception's better up there. It's higher. Just higher. So
natural.
But yeah, if you're looking for local TV, you better have your dish or something like that.
Number 8 is location. Columbus, Texas is located about halfway between Austin and Houston. Columbus itself is not a really big town, but very clean, fun little town. We had the opportunity to explore a few things, and I'll let Chris tell you a little bit more about that.
Columbus has both an H-E-B, really nice grocery store, and a Walmart. They're right next to each other, which is super handy. We got Jackson groomed, and speaking of Jackson, what's he doing?
All the way back there?
We're not sure what he's doing. We got him groomed there at a place called Country Critters, and across the street is a place called the Vintage Shop, I believe, and great liquor store. I mean, the selection was unbelievable for such a small town.
For those of you who follow us, you know that Chris and I like to go out and explore the local wineries, breweries, and distilleries. And in Columbus is a nice little brewery called Hound Song. While we were there, we got to meet the owner, and we also got to meet the head of the Chamber of Commerce, Billy.
Small town doings there.
Yeah, he just came over and sat down, chatted with us. It was just a great time.
It was really fun. It was dog friendly on the outside. We were able to bring the dog. They had water bowls out and treats and everything. So it was a nice brewery and good beer.
Good beer,
well.
Absolutely. All right, pro tip number 1. this campground does have quite a few deer. We were able to every night see 40, 50 deer running around, which was great. We do have a dog, as you know, Jack, and luckily the deer really don't bother him, and
they don't feed the deer there.
No,
I know at some of the other parks,
clearly do not feed the deer.
So they know that you're there, but
yeah, this is not like Medina. If those of you have been to Medina, Lake Medina, you know that there's deer right outside your front porch every morning and every night. But there are a lot of deer, and they're nice to see, and they just kind of mind their own business.
This campground was located very centrally in the Texas Independence Wine Trail, so we were able to find some wineries, and we are doing a video on Texas wineries, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. We visited 3 wineries that day, and we had a great time. The one thing to remember about those wineries, though, is they're kind of far apart. They're not like...
Yeah, they don't look like it on the map.
Yeah, they look like they're 5 minutes away, but the first one was about 30 to 35 minutes away, so just keep that in mind in your planning.
Yep.
The third pro tip is not actually a pro tip, it's a cautionary tale, and you can't believe, I might as well play the lottery that day because you won't believe what happened to me. So I went out for a hike by myself. I usually hike alone because our dog can't go as far as I like to go, so I was just hiking around the trails that circle the campground, and I was filming. Actually, I was honed in on these sweet little butterflies. I was like, oh, this is so relaxing, and I had my head down and I was filming these butterflies, and all of a sudden I just felt this flap, just like I thought
a smack in the face.
It was a smack in the face, and I thought, what? I dropped my camera, and I couldn't figure out what happened, and then I smelled basically. My first thought was a little kid just threw dog poop at me. I was just shocked, and I couldn't figure out what happened, but I felt like a blob on my cheek right here, and so I went like this, and sure enough,
made the matters worse.
It was bird poop.
Not just bird poop.
It was buzzard poop. A big glob here, and I look down, and I have it. I can feel it on my face, and luckily I had my sunglasses on. I think they saved my eye, but I had it all down my shirt. I had it all down my arm, and I'm standing there, and I have no idea what to do.
She's about a quarter mile from the rig.
It smelled terrible, and I thought about the walk of shame walking back through the campground with this poop all over me. And so what do? I call Ryan, and I'm like, you need to come rescue me.
I'm like, okay, I think I can break away for a few minutes.
I said, bring a dry towel and bring a wet towel.
I didn't know
what happened.
So anyways, jumped in the truck, got up there, and there's poor Chris in his field standing there waiting for me to show up with the rags.
My knight in shining armor.
Yeah. I get out, walk around the truck, and I have kind of a weak stomach when things like this happen, and proceeded to gag a few times, and basically just handed her the towels and said, "You're on your own."
He like circles the back of the truck and he starts going, ooh, ooh. And I was like, get away from me, just get away from me. I said, if you throw up right now, I'm gonna throw up. I said, this is not happening.
So that could have happened.
So my knight in shining armor, basically, he did come and rescue me, but I had to do all of the cleanup myself. And so the cautionary tale is, be careful of those turkey buzzards flying overhead. And I am never going to take a hike again without wearing a baseball cap because, and I also put like wipes in my little,
just in case that
my
happens
cute
again.
little fanny pack that I wear, because you just never know. And I figure I have not had a bird poop on me since I was in Italy when I was 18. So I figure I'm probably done for my lifetime. But anyway, funny things that can happen when you're out on the road. But thanks for watching our video, and give us a thumbs up, and don't forget, if you are interested in that 1,000 Trails camping membership, to contact Jim and Brandy. You won't be sorry. So until the next time,
cheers.
Cheers. See you on the road. Yep. I don't know why I said that.
And so once we're going to do...
Sarah, we already said that.
once we cover 8 categories, stay tuned.
Drink some wine.
Before we get started on the Campground Shakedown, get a hold of Jim and Brandy Renaud.
Or Jim and Brandy Renaud.
To get a hold of Jim and Kathy Renaud. Jim and Brandy Renaud.
Everybody's Kathy.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna get the giggles now. Ooh.
Okay. The name of the campground that we were at was the Colorado. And on site, there's 122 sites available.
Or 138.
Oh, okay. In the campground, all right.
In the campground, there's 138 sites, and we were in D26. Right. This one had a few, and it did have. Thank you for picking that up.
We did have full sewer, which was important to us.
Full sewer, not half sewer.
So not a big deal.
No.
At all.
That was just a, yeah.
Something to be aware of.
I don't know what I'm saying.